State of the Pitch with Steve Bowler and Barry O'Neill.
Hello, Steve and Barry. How are you guys today?
Fabulous. We're with the campaign folks.
Yeah, it's a party over here. And we are joined by our data journalist, Cecilia Garzella. Cecilia, how are you today?
Good. So great to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you guys. So mainly this crew has been working tirelessly behind the scenes for a pretty big deal kind of survey that's going on for State of the Pitch survey. You guys, Cecilia has been coordinating, working with you guys to get this data and survey out into the world. So, Stephen, I'd love to start with you and you tell us, just a little bit about Mercer and the survey.
Sure. Well, Mercer Island Group, we are management and marketing consultants. We work with both clients and agencies. For clients, we lead tons of agency reviews and pitches, which is one of the reasons this is so topical. With agencies that aren't involved in our pitches, we help them position themselves and get better at pitching. So this is all really near and dear to our hearts, this effort.
And now the survey is out in the world and it kicked off. And can you remind us of the logistics here? Who can participate, when the survey closes, and how many times they can participate?
Sure. The survey's open right now. It'll be open through the end of the year. Any agency can participate. They can participate by completing a survey for each review that they participate in 2025. And so they can participate basically as often as they want. So far, we've got a very good response, and we're really looking forward to learning from this effort.
And for either of you, why do you think this initiative is so important right now, in the new business space?
The importance is we really don't have a view of the state of the pitch. We're often asked by agencies about how we run our process, and they've worked with other consultants or procurement departments who run their own process. I'm often not able to answer how other consultants might do it just because I don't know. I only know based on experiences that each individual agency talks about with me. So it'll be nice to have a view, and really helpful, frankly, to have a view of how this is done and the challenges that agencies in particular are facing so that we can improve our own process and start a conversation really that we can't do today.
And I'm so curious because you guys have been in this for a while, and even just in this past year, Cecilia and I and the team, we've heard so much about the state of pitching, just people, taking on less pitches, being mindful of it, because it's such a drain on resources and things like that. Sometimes there's insane deadlines, and just kind of brands coming and saying, we need this and we need this by next week kind of a thing. So we've heard a lot of stories, but you guys have been in this for a while. So Stephen, can you tell us a little bit about this scene and what you've seen from your seat at the table?
Sure. There's things that haven't changed that seem like they're like evergreen. And then there are definitely things that are changing. I think one of the evergreen points is that clients lead most of their own reviews. So it's the marketers managing the review, and that's the vast bulk of review and the number of reviews done. And whether it's they lead 85% or 90% or 80%, whatever it is, it's a big percentage of the number of reviews. Now, so that's one of the continuous things. Also, nobody trains a client in how to run a review. And so there's a wild west of behaviors and approaches and impacts on the industry. I think one of the changes that you were referring to is the fact that their agencies have sort of had enough in a lot of cases, and they are simply a lot more selective than they would have been 10 years ago about when they'll participate. They built their own filters for participating in a competitive review. And I think that part is making the industry better, or at least putting the industry on alert that pitch processes have to be more professionally run, and they have to be more sort of agency-centric for clients to get the kind of participation they'd like.
Do either of you have any kind of expectations for what we might see in some of the results?
I'm hoping there will be challenges that we don't know about. There are certainly those that we hear about again and again. One of those is we just don't have enough time in the pitch process to touch base with the client. We're developing strategy or recommendations, in a vacuum. We also hear the timing thing. Oftentimes a client that's set by the client, they just have to have an agency in place in a short time. So those are the things we know. I'm hoping we will see things that we haven't heard, things that are perhaps a lot more prevalent than we expect. Because, you don't know what you don't know, and that'll help us to change things.
And if I could add to what Barry said, I think one of the interesting things that I'm interested in learning is how different is the day-to-day pitch process that agencies are experiencing compared to what we always hear about and read about. The stories that get the most play naturally are these horrific experiences. A Keurig Dr. Pepper wanting 360-day terms, or like, I think it was like 15 years ago, Zappos does a review and they invite 100 agencies or more to the review. That's the stuff, and believe me, of course that's going to get a lot of play in the industry. What I'm really keenly interested in are the facts, as Barry was saying, because I think many of us are, including campaign, are on a journey to help this industry get better. We love this industry, but we don't have the data. And so this effort is so important because it's going to be the first time that we actually have the data for the U.S. about all these really important questions that we have about the processes, so that the industry can learn and hopefully the industry can improve.
Yeah, well said. Right. Cecilia is also nodding. Very true.
Yeah, we're also really excited here, too, because it'll allow us to kind of compare some results that we gathered in Canada and Australia. So kind of seeing how the U.S. stacks up on the global scale.
It'll be nice to compare to those nice folks in Canada.
Yeah, they are pretty nice over
exactly.
there. Well, Steve and Barry, thank you so much. This is to give our listeners and readers a little preview of what we have going on. Again, the survey is open until late January and available on our site. So thank you both so much for the time, and thank you, Cecilia.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Thank you.